So I've worked in the fitness industry for 20 years. I started back in 2004, and I want to share with you some insights here that I think every single person that goes to the gym should know. And the first part of that is you don't have to go to the gym, which sounds weird. I mean, I've owned a gym for 14 years. I've managed them for about 18 years, and I started working them about 20 years ago. And so the key thing here that I really want to share with you is that gyms attempt to dominate your life. They attempt to make you think that you need to be there every single day. Now, I'm not talking about the good feeling that you get from going to the gym. I'm all for that. I'm not talking out against the community and friendships that you build at the gym. I'm all for that. I think all of those things are important. What I am talking to today is a simple shift that just changes the way that you use the gym. And more importantly, you stop letting the gym use you. Now, let me explain. You have, in the fitness industry, a couple of different types of models, but you've got a big, large commercial model. They're your fitness first or similars, right? Those big commercial box gyms. And then you've got more boutique-y style, independent. Now we're starting to see a little bit more of the boutique chain type gyms as well, which is almost like a blur between commercial and independent, but they're very different. It's like an independent restaurant, right? Compared to that of a chain restaurant, such as Mackie D's. So you're looking at these sort of options, and you can actually, restaurants are a great example. So my gym, for example, is a sit-down restaurant. We cap out at like 150 clients. That means that if we get more people in, like seats at a restaurant, our service starts to dilute and we start to get customers that aren't very happy. And so we go, well, our business model works well when we can service 150 clients really, really, really well. And that's fantastic. Everyone's happy, it works, the business model works, great. When you look at these larger gyms with 3,000 people, they don't want 3,000 people coming in. And that's fine, that's the model. They're a subscription model, like Netflix almost. If you had every person that has a Netflix account log in at the same time, it will crash the servers. And it's exactly the same thing with those gyms. They actually don't even email you because they don't want to wake the sleepers, literally their words, whoever they are. But my point here being is if you walk into one of these gyms and you see like 50 treadmills, you're like, holy shit, there's so many treadmills. It's like, it's actually not based on the amount of people, that many treadmills, but they only require 20% of people to come in. They actually, if you get more than that, so you get 3,000 members, that's 600 people that are continually using the gym. If you get closer to, let's just pump it up to 50%, right? You get 1,500 people per day coming through that facility. The place is smashed, it's crammed, people will start canceling. And so we have to understand that from a number of different angles, the fitness industry is set up as fundamentally an industry. But on top of that, it's going to use you. And it's going to use you because it wants you paying and either, in this case, not coming. But in a lot of the independent ones, they want you coming. And so they do the opposite. So they're going to be like, you should be here all the time, points and challenges for people that have the most sessions, bring the most friends, come here the most often. And that's great. I mean, I remember working with a gym up in Sydney. And they said to me, and they said it with pride, and I think I used to do this as well, genuinely. They're like, we want our clients' best hour of their day to be with us. We want to make sure that we can help deliver their best hour. And I said to them, you want their best hour to be with you and not with their family, not outside of the gym, not going for a walk along the beach? Shouldn't your 1 hour with them help enhance what they can do outside? Shouldn't enhance their best hour? They can participate in their best hour because they're with you. Shouldn't it be that? Shouldn't you be partnering rather than making it about the gym? And this is a really important point. It doesn't mean that you haven't had a day where you've gone to the gym and it was your best hour. Positive. What I'm getting at here is that there are two different approaches. There's a gym-centric approach and a life-centric approach. Gym-centric approaches are fine, and you see a lot of sports come out now, CrossFit, high rocks, all of these types, powerlifting, weightlifting, they're not just come out, but let's just say they've become more popular. And there's only one way you get better at these sports, by spending more time at the gym, which is fine. They're gym-centric sports and you have gym-centric communities. But we also have this life-centric approach. And the life-centric approach is, what are the games and goals that you want to play with your life? And then how do you use a facility like a gym, recovery center, whatever else it might be? How can you use that facility and optimize it so you can do more of that whenever you want, right? You become what I refer to as like an anywhere, anytime athlete. And the key difference between a gym-centric and a life-centric is that A lot of the times the gyms are going to market as a business to be able to go, I want you in here and training and paying money and getting results so I can market those results and get more people in like you. And that's fine. I probably could do more of that with my gym, I guess, in a way. But at the same time, I know I'm like, you got kids. Like, if they wanted to go for a walk in the morning, when you get up and one's already awake and they're like, oh, can we go for a walk? And you're like, do I go for a walk with my kids or do I go to the gym? Go for a fucking walk with your kids. Like, of course that's okay. I didn't need to tell you, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, don't forget we're living life here. And there's something that's really important from this, and that has fundamentally influenced the way that I view training and the gym and life. And it happened back in, I believe it was the end of 2017. It might have been the end of 2016. I went 15, 16, 17. It was the end of 2016. I was 27. And it was at my good friend's funeral. He was my videographer at the time, and we've been friends since high school, and he was in a car accident. And at his funeral, I remember sitting there and I remember reflecting and thinking, the only thing that they're talking about are the memories they have with him and how he contributed. That was it. The memories you have and how you contribute. That's all. Everything they spoke about, they didn't speak about his score on Call of Duty, his couch, his income, his qualifications, none of that stuff. They didn't mention that. I mean, unless it was relevant to those two things, memories and contributions. And then I reflected on the funerals I'd been to prior to that, and I've reflected on the funerals I've been to since. And that's all anyone ever really speaks about. The memories that they have with you and how you contributed. And so for me, I made a meaning of that, of going, well, they're the only two things that actually matter. The memories you make and how you contribute. What was interesting is that as much as I remembered that story, I even actually went into doing vlogging and videos because Alex passed away. I was like, well, what's the best way to honor Alex? So if you jump on Facebook, probably on Instagram as well, and put a hashtag of Alex's legacy, you'll see really old videos of me pop up. But the interesting thing is that years later, and I look at the work that I do, I've been trying to dial it down and be like, what is it actually that I do? It's like, well, I help people be present in the little moments and perform in the big ones. And what that came to me was like, oh, it's just be present to make memories and perform in the big moments so you can contribute. Big moments can be on the field, it can be in the boardroom, or it can be at home. It doesn't really matter. Same with the little moments. They can be all in all those little areas. So the key thing here was going, how do I be present and perform? How do I create memories and contribute? And what happens so often is that it's based around a life-centric approach. Now remember, I've worked with like 10,000 people. I've delivered a TED Talk and written a book all around health and fitness. Now, I'm encouraging people, if you want to use a gym 5 days a week and get fitter and stronger and chase barbell PRs, go for it. Just know you don't touch a fucking barbell when you leave the gym, which is fine. Doesn't mean you shouldn't use them. I've got 30 of them downstairs. What I'm getting at here is that when we look at using the gym for actual real world movement and function and real world strength and fitness. And so what I'm really getting at here more than anything is being able to use the gym to be able to do the things in life you want to do more often. So you can create those memories and so you can contribute in a way that's meaningful for you. And that's the important point. It doesn't mean, once again, that you shouldn't be going to the gym 5 times a week if that's what you like. For example, I play cricket, and so that's my community outside of work. And for a lot of people, the gym being their third space, this is their community outside of work and home. So that's fine. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. What I am saying, it should be a conscious decision around, am I just trying to chase PBs on barbells, or am I using the gym to be able to do all the things that I want to do outside of the gym, whether it be hiking without even worrying about injuries or back pain, or whether I can or not, or if I'm going to be fit enough. Is it so I can just do things around my home on an acreage? Is it so I can carry things upstairs without even concern? Is it so that I can do, like I said, anywhere, anytime athlete, you're able to say yes to the things you want to say yes to. That's the position that we want to be in. So I developed a model called the BSFT Matrix. Now, the BSFT Matrix is simply just a tool that allows people to go, based on these 4 pillars, these 4 areas of body, mind, food, and time, or move, mind, mouth, and method. Where am I now? And then where do I need to be in order to be able to play those games and live those goals that I want to live? The way that looks is you've got 4 pillars: body, mind, food, time, otherwise known as move, mind, mouth, and method. And this is one of the models that I teach the absolute most. Now here, we've got what's called a pre-stage. I'll talk about that briefly. Pre-stage, and then we have these other stages. And this is safe, strong, sexy, story behind that, student, scholar, sage, simple, sustainable, specific. And then I'm going to do this, and we're going to call this step, shift, and set. And then we have a general name. This is called base, flow, and peak. Now, I teach this a fair bit, so excuse me if you've already seen this before, but it's always worth doubling down and learning more about it. So what I learned is that people move through stages, and there's so much to do with vertical integration. I wrote about this a lot in my recent Substacks, and I'm actually going to pull these pillars apart individually in the upcoming videos. But the reason why this is really important here is because you get to go, what are the goals and games that I want to play with my life? Given that, where on this matrix am I now? I've already made a free quiz for you. You can take the quiz. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes, and you'll be able to get a good idea of like, where am I on this map? And then from there, it's a matter of assessing, well, and you can do the DENK goals, by the way. That's another free resource for you. So you set your goals, and you write down to going what I need to do each day and how do I need to show up. That's a free training. And that allows you to go, cool, where do I want to go? And then where on this map do I need to be? What's my actual practices? Funnily enough, in all of our trainings, we have a thing called, can you still see this? I'll put it here. We have a thing called look, that's an L, look, play, learn, practice. So as we learn things, it's like, let's look at this model, let's play with it, and then let's actually go literally play with it, engage with it. Let's come back and look at it again now that we've had a bit of a play with it, so we can deepen our learning with it, and then what's our practice to actually apply it and embody it day in, day out. So that's our learning V-call, it's called virtuous. There's a lot of acronyms, virtual circle of learning. Back to this. The reason why this is so important is because the goal isn't to get the right technique on a barbell, because you never fucking touch barbells when you leave the gym anyway. And people go, well, what, I've got 30 of them. We use them, they're useful, but it's a multi-tool. If you went to a doctor and you're like, why are you using the one tool for everything? They're like, oh, it's just a really useful tool for everything. You'd be like, isn't there more better specialty tools? Anyway, so barbells are useful, but even the height of the barbell with the plates on is actually at that height, so your head doesn't get squashed if it was to fall on you. Did you know that? That's true. When you leave the gym, you never touch anything that's perfectly evenly weighted with a nice knurling grip that you can pick up mid-shin. That's about 28 millimeters diameter. Very rarely do you do that. And very rarely do you pick it up and then just put it back down and then just pick it up and then just put it back down again. Doesn't mean you shouldn't train like that. That should be a part of your training. But when you leave the gym, you move in so many different ways, and it's worth replicating those different functions as well. Video on that later on. But what I'm getting at here is being able to measure this, going, how do I go through these stages to make sure that, not that I'm just getting to this higher stage, that can be relevant, but usually not. It's based on your games and goals and what you want to do with your life, so that you can start going, well, in this case, I probably only need to be at the gym 2 or 3 days a week. I don't need to be there 5 days a week, because my goals and games are actually to be able to play with my kids more often and go and play a social sport that I really enjoy. So why am I trying to go to the gym to get fitter to do those things, when if I do those things, I'll also get fitter and I'll enjoy it? So it's really about switching around rather than being gym-centric to being life-centric. Now, for some people, their life-centric approach includes a gym in that sense, where they are training 5 days a week. Great, no worries at all. But it's this map here that allows us to go from this slave mentality through to safe. And building safe is about building good range of movement, about having stability, and your capacity to repeat. That says repeat. Repeat that as well. That's the basis of actually looking at how we move well. And the key thing here is that if I go, I'm going to teach you the right and the wrong technique, that is not correct. I'm going to break that down in the next video, 100%. But it's the same as when we start to go from being stuck within our mind and being like, well, this is just the way I am, this is just the way it is, that's, leopards can't change their spots. When we start to gain flexibility as the student, we start to become more flexible. And usually there's an event that creates this stuff. Well, maybe it's not like that. That starts to allow us to question, which is a big part of that, by the way, question our own perception of reality, not reality, our perception of reality. And same when it goes to from food, from swinging from binge to restrict. And this is the easy example, right? This is the easiest example I can give someone when it comes to understanding to use the fitness industry, use information, use knowledge so you can do more of this. People think that their goal is to lose weight, for example. It's not. No one wants to lose weight. They want what they think weight loss will give them. And so that doesn't mean that they wouldn't benefit from holding less body fat. I'm on board with that. What I'm getting at is that what do you think weight loss is going to give you that will speak to a meaningful goal for you? And if you can dig down on that, you're going to build some motivation towards it. You're going to build some motivation away from probably where you are right now, and you need that engine to be able to drive you towards it. But if you keep it surface level and you think it's to do with numbers, you'll hit the number and you won't get what you genuinely deep down want, and then you'll go back and you'll cycle through. And it happens like this. They're swinging, binge restrict, and then they go and eat specifically what someone tells them to do because they're going to be codependent on someone. Another video on that. And then they do their 12-week challenge with the dietitian, nutritionist, influencer, doesn't matter who it is, AI nowadays. And then afterwards they fall off the bandwagon because you shouldn't be on a bandwagon. And they come back to swinging because what happens is that these are stages and they had a peak state experience because they were codependent. That's not going to last. We actually have to move and go, okay, well, what is simple nutrition steps? Well, what's protein, carb, and fat? Do I know how to identify a protein, carb, and fat? Do I have emotional approaches towards the food that I eat? That's a whole nother conversation. But this map here allows you to start to really assess, how do I use all this so that I can become my version of an anywhere, anytime athlete, so that I can play the games and live the goals that I want to live. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that we're using the gym as a resource rather than letting the gym use us as a resource, especially a paid resource. There's a couple of key things to that I would offer you before finishing up this video. The key principles that I'd offer you to take on mind with this is make sure that your 1 hour in the gym should positively impact your 23 hours outside of that facility. If it doesn't, it's a cost. So many people chase professional injuries for amateur results because they're trying to get this crazy dopamine hit or put themselves into a fight or flight space because they're so used to using exercise as an escape as opposed to using exercise as a chance to build a greater connection with your body. If you continue to thrash your body, calling it exercise and calling it mental health, you will at some point run into an injury that could have been avoided and you'll be laid up on the couch staring dead straight at the thing you've been avoiding. You cannot run your whole fucking time. You got to understand and unpack what's going on for you mentally. We'll go through that in another video, I promise. That's one. Two is the gym shouldn't dominate your life. You should use the gym to dominate life. It's a big difference. The gym should not dominate your life. You should use the gym to dominate your life. And if you can do that, you're going to find yourself doing all of the things that really deep down you want to do, as opposed to simply thinking that you have to get to a certain point before you're allowed to be happy. It's not fucking true. You can be happy along the way, I promise you. So I'll leave you with 4 things that you can look to integrate today. One of them here, if you're not already, you start looking at functional training. It's the name of my business, Functional Fitness Australia, or Funk. I'm not asking for members. It's in Canberra in one suburb. So that's what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is you learning how to train and function, how to lift things, how to carry things, how to push things, how to jump, what's relevant for you, how to pull, how to climb, all of these sorts of things. Yes, CrossFit was onto something for sure. CrossFit at its peak though, what it does do, just so you know, is that they go, this is RX up here. Everything else is scaled. No, that's not correct. Here are the base fundamental functional movement patterns, and here's the development of that as necessary, because I'm yet to meet an accountant that needs to snatch a barbell. So get into some form of functional training, get some guidance, really get into your body. The other one here is understanding your intention. What is my intention with my training? What is my intention with actually going to the gym in the first place? What am I wanting to get out of it? Here, learn like real food, most meals. That's it. Real food, most meals. Very, very simple. And then here, do you have a framework for your goals, and do you know what your perfect repeatable week is? They're the things that if you were to at least pick one of these in an area that you're not so strong at, you can take the quiz if you wish, it's free. They're the things that you could do straight away today that would move you in a direction of becoming your version of an anywhere, anytime athlete. And team, that's me done. I'm out. Big love. Peace and pizza. I'll see you soon.